Radio Dismuke is now on Facebook. Find us at facebook.com/Radio Dismuke. Streaming the sounds of the 1920s and 1930s around the world 24 hours a day. This is Radio Dismuke. RadioDismuke.com. HappyMusicRadio.com.
Welcome again to the Michael Swartz that is being done right now. Michael Swartz was a Dutch artist who was a contemporary of Vermeer, and is one of the artists of the Dutch Golden Age, Dutch Renaissance, whatever you like to call it. And this type of painting was called a troon. Troon is old 16th century Dutch for kind of face or a guy or whatever. It's also a French word for face, visage, type of thing. These were done originally. Actually, the girl in the golden helmet, sorry, the girl with the pearl earring, was also a troon. And these were done as a form of advertising what you could do. So they would go into shows, etc., and be sold for not a lot of money at the time compared to what you'd get in a commission. But it kind of let people know that, yeah, well, this guy can really paint, and yeah, I'll commission him to do my wife, my family, whatever. And this is how they did it. Rembrandt, often people wonder why Rembrandt has so many portraits of himself. Well, he wasn't a narcissist. What he was is they were sold, and as they were sold, he would do another. And this was to advertise his ability as a painter and as his wares, basically. And this is what this is. Michael Schwartz is a very enigmatic character. He was an incredibly devout Catholic, and he had converted to Catholicism, worked in Rome with the Caravaggio group in terms of lights and darks. And there was a movement in Rome at the time, and there was also a movement in Rome at the time whereby they did ordinary people, peasants, people in the street, etc., to show life, what was like life was like at the time. And they did peasants and subjects that normally weren't done in previous century paintings. And it was a movement that had kind of gave us a window into what it was like as a person at the time, living in times. Spent some time in Rome and actually did quite well there. He was able to make an acquaintance of a relative of the Pope's and had some quite notoriety. Did an amazing amount of artwork. Why he left Rome, nobody really knows, but he shows back up in Amsterdam on a specific date. I don't recall the date offhand, but hundreds. And don't really know why he left Rome. There is no real record of why he came back to Amsterdam. Painted for another couple of years, and then he went on travels and ended up, believe it or not, in Goa, India. On the way there, however, he had lost his mind, apparently, and he was ejected from the ship that he was on, and he ends up in another ship and ends up in Goa. Now, that's the historical record. Heaven only knows what really would happen, but that's what was written down. Not known for sure why that happened or if it happened, but it is part of the record. He was another enigma in terms of the group of artists around Vermeer's time, in that nobody knows who trained them, who the person was who trained them, how this type of art really evolved into this type of high-end portraiture. And believe me, historians have looked into this. Art historians have been looking at this for a long time, and they cannot find the people who trained them. There's a little bit of a hint in that when Caravaggio was alive, well, earlier than his era, that many artists traveled to Florence to see the style and technique that Caravaggio had pioneered, which was incredible light sources and lights and darks and very dramatic type of scenes that you kind of see here, the light on the face. They know that there are a lot of Dutch artists, German artists, many artists that traveled to see this in Florence. And the consequence of that is it shows back up again in the Dutch Golden Age a number of years later. So there's a bit of a hint. Nobody knows for sure. Regardless, he's a very highly trained artist, a la Vermeer. And like Vermeer, there's no record. He's a member of the guild. Has contemporaries of one of Rembrandt's students, very popular artist at the time. But again, nothing is known about that early history. And he dies at a very young age of 46. And there's only a very low number of Schwartz that have been proven to be his, because they didn't sign their paintings very often, though. And there's only one known sketch by Schwartz, unlike Vermeer, where there are no unknown sketches. There's none that have ever been survived or recovered, which has led to the camera obscura controversy that sort of raged for a little while in the art history. Nobody knows really what happened, but quite possible he combined camera obscura in a studio and did sketches. His sketching was just fabulous. So again, it's an open question as of how methods he used, but the real thing would be who trained this style of art to these fellows, and that hasn't been uncovered yet. So there's a mystery there. Regardless, though, incredible artist, incredible skill, and what I'm doing simply is translating this into an acrylic painting. I'm doing it smaller than he originally did it. I never made these paintings too large. Not quite 16 by 20, 16 by 18, that kind of thing. Or smaller. Mainly because they were taken to shows and they're easily transportable. They were all done on canvas, and that seemed to be pretty regular in Dutch Renaissance. Again, they were small simply because they wanted to put them in shows and whatnot. As I say, I'm doing this small. Vermeer did the lady with the red hat, the girl with the red hat, which is only 9 inches by 9 7/8 inches. So this is slightly larger painting, but I'm doing it 9 by 12, using the same techniques, only I'm translating all those techniques into acrylic paint. And I hope you can follow along and take a look. I started last night, and I've got a good base down for the face, for the color scheme, and the lights and darks, and I'm continuing that. What I've decided to do in this particular painting is, which is a little bit different than the norm, I've decided to put the eyes and the lips in tonight, and then do the next phase of the glazes on the face. And the reason I'm doing that is simply that I know for a fact that many people look at this art and who see portraits, and once it gets more real and more real, it sort of freaks them out a little bit that there's these two white patches staring at them. So it's been brought to my attention, so I'm going to do the eyes so it speaks more to the audience. That's why I'm doing it this way. I'm going to put the eyes in. And this was underpainted. You'll see little bits of green on the edges. The reason for that is simply that it was underpainted in grisaille. And that is a gray, green, bluish color, which they put down first in order to get a flesh tone that looked natural and real. And that color, if you're wondering what it is, just look at one of your veins. That's basically the color. Grisaille is simply French for gray. Some artists ended up, like Renoir, just using gray. But in this particular time, they use like a little bit of blue and a little bit of green. So it's grisaille were those colors originally. And away we go. Enjoy. Again, if you have any questions at all, please give me a little how to. Yes, I saw that, Scott. I did my checkoff list in my head, and it wasn't quite right, so I quickly reacted. um, so, without further ado, we're going to start on the eyes. And before I just get into that, I'm going to mix up a little bit of flesh tone to go around the eye. So we have a... Now I'm going to change slightly the recipe for flesh tone here. I'm using a little quin orange. That's a little bit different than I've been doing from the rest of it. Tones are a little darker over here, so I want to get those in a little bit darker, so that's what I'm going to do. I hope you enjoy this painting. It is a fun painting. And Scott, we're on for tomorrow at noon, I would hope. To do some of that colored pencil work. Can't get behind. Went to the final lecture today. And unbelievably, I held my tongue. The last lecture in the series. And the topic near and dear to my heart regarding museums, art museums, and they picked a guy to do it. Well, let me just say this. It was a backdoor sales pitch for his company. But I held my tongue. You would have been proud of me. It being the last lesson, or the last lecture in the series. But disappointing to say the least. But again, being the age I am and the price they charge, one can't complain too much. So if you get a couple out of it, I'm not big. What I'm saying is I'm not concerned, because you get a couple out of it. And it was well worth it this time, because the couple that I did, worth their weight in gold. As far as I'm concerned. Dun, 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 dun. I watched a kind of a disturbing video this afternoon. I admit it was very, well, yeah, it was quite disturbing. And the reason I say that is that it was, you can subscribe to, there's a site that you can subscribe to documentaries on the internet, and they're short documentaries, they're not long, so I'm in the mood still from talk, lecture, and I decided, I'm gonna watch this. Anyway, it was a well, the topic was there. This guy who lost an arm and a leg some time back in a train accident. I don't know what the train accident entailed, but he had lost an arm and a leg. But he does these documentaries. He's just one of them, by the way. There's more than him. Anyway, looked like a kind of interesting topic, but anyway, what it was the, I guess for lack of a better word, it was the cyborg or robot sex industry that has crept up in Europe, England and Spain and whatnot. So he did like a pretty good job, and I admit in the little documentary he did, and everything was going pretty well. It's the artificial intelligence and where it's leading us, and what's this going to mean, and in the long run, will it replace human interaction? And he went to a few people who were actually programming, designing these well, like a robot, only they're more like an android, really. So anyway, he went and interviewed them, and everything was going really good. And then what happened? Like, it was very informative, and it was pretty. I mean, philosophically, I mean, they were saying, is there room for this? Well, he actually went out and proved that there is, because they already have clients, and there's people who booked with a robot instead of a human being. So anyway, in Amsterdam or some blasted place. Anyway, so everything was going just fine. Then all of a sudden, he says, "Well, we're going to go to the place where this really has, for lack of a better word, taken off." And boom, you're in Japan. And what appeared to be at first just like a niche market type of thing, from the Spaniards and the people involved in Western Europe, quickly turned into a real industry in Japan. And it would appear they're miles ahead on this. And it was bloody scary. It really was. So from a esoteric point of view, I guess that it was just interesting observations, etc. However, then he went down a different path. What he did is he went to this place that makes these robot thingies, and he goes into the place where they make them. They're all handmade and programmed, etc. And he goes in, and there, lying on the table, was a robot of a child, like pervert style. And, I hadn't thought of that. I'll be honest with you. I went, holy Moses. And I don't think the guy himself knew that when he went in there. Because you could tell he was really, he was emotionally upset, like when you saw it. And they showed it on camera, and holy Moses, it just. And then he posed the question, which was the question, like, what exactly are we going to this? Then he started interviewing the guy manufacturing them, who said, well, there's some resistance to this. No kidding. So they only sell them in Japan. And I went, and so he said, well, and the guy explained they only sell them in Japan because other countries have banned them, or I don't know, something like that. But man, it was an eye-opener, I'll tell you. Like, wow. Anyway, this little documentary, I got 30 minutes type of thing. It was powerful stuff. Certainly opened up I hadn't thought of that, to be honest with you. But obviously there's people who have. And I guess the acknowledgement is the fact that it's only in Japan. But wow. It was an eye-opener, I'll tell you. No, not dark enough, old boy.
But I hate to lose you. You've got me in between the devil and the deep blue sea. 'Cause I can't forget you. You've got me in between the devil and the deep blue sea. I ought to cross you off my list, but when you come knocking at my door, hate seems to get my heart a twist, and I come running back for more. I should hate you, but I guess I love you. You've got me in between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Da, da, da. Oh, it's too dark here. Dun, 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 dun. Nope, not enough. Now it's way too. Wouldn't expect naphthalol to be that bright, but dun, 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 dun.
rumba. Boogaloo-doo-doo. Don't you stop. Spin around again, waddle-doo, like a top. Want to dance? Millions are learning it now. You'll be happy somehow when you're doing the rumba. Take a chance. Down in Havana, they say palm trees wiggle and sway when they're doing the rumba. Get you when you kick those castanets, what he'd hit you right in the spot. Cold tomatoes they have when they're doing the rumba.
Hello. Why, just look who's here. Hello, oh dear. You know, it seems to me that I've met you before. I know I'm right. Yes, I know it must be you. Because I plainly recognize those eyes of blue. But if I'm mistaken, honey, please don't get sore. Pardon me, baby. Is it yes, is it no, or is it maybe? Pardon me, pretty baby. Don't I look familiar to you? Ah, come on and let's get acquainted. You know, there's a bench in the park newly painted. It's a great idea, honey, ain't it? Something to do. When I met you, and was it underneath the moon? Or was it London? Were we golfing? How could you forget so soon? And by the way, how's your mother? And your dad and your sis and your brother? Pardon me, who's another? Well, I thought I looked familiar to you. Pardon me, pretty baby. Is it yes? Is it no? Is it maybe? Pardon me, pretty baby. Don't I look familiar to you? Oh, my word, we're having lovely weather. And I can see that we're birds of a feather. And we should get together. That is, if there's nothing better to do. Now, you must remember Monte Carlo, where we kissed and kissed again, you know. Oh, I'm mistaken, and you don't travel. Well, it must have been two others then. Goodness sakes, look, why, it's raining. And I could go for some home entertaining. Pardon me? Oh, no explaining. But don't I look familiar to you? And another thing, you know, dear, we should get clubby. 'Cause you're so nice, so sweet, and so chubby. What's that? You have a hubby. Well, that's all right, 'cause I'm married, too.
Radio Dismuke is a listener-supported service of early 1900s music preservation, a nonprofit organization devoted to bringing the great forgotten music of the past to the attention of new and appreciative modern audiences. If you enjoy the music we present and value the work that we do, please consider giving us your support to whatever degree you're able. Your contribution will not only ensure that the music continues to play for your own enjoyment, you will also be passing on a priceless gift to all those who will discover this wonderful music for the first time as a result of our efforts.
I'll tell you right now, that's not the right caller.
www.early1900s.org. That's early1900s.org.
Yes. And Guessed and I lost. There you go. How's that one? I used a bit of green in the blues. So I'm going to put a little bit of cerulean in instead.
You're feeling badly and everything looks great. You're getting worried, yes indeed.
I gambled and I lost. What can I tell you?
A little sunshine will make you feel okay. Give the blues
Happens. Kind of weird. Looking at the corners of her eyes by virtue of the the way the is hitting. Oh God.
You can cure your ills with sunshine. Why don't you take your teardrops one by one before it gets too late? Hang them up out in
There we go.
and they'll evaporate when the trouble starts pounding at your heart. Rub the injured part with sunshine.
There we go. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Give the blues a chase. Find a sunny place. Go and paint your face with sunshine. Pay your doctor bill, then throw away his pill. Because you can cure your ills with sunshine. Why don't you take your teardrops one by one before it gets too late? Hang them up out in the sun and they'll evaporate when the trouble starts pounding at your heart. Rub the injured part with sunshine.
Micro tonal shifts are unbelievable. Because they are micro. Son of
Lost in a crowd, wrapped in a crowd, dreaming a dream, singing along.
I've often wondered if they did these things.
Nothing to do, lost in a crowd.
Even a bit better than commission work.
Wandering there,
Mainly because they were kind of advertising their wares, so they,
heaven knows where, must always stand.
you know, they were looking for work, right?
Lost in a crowd.
They over impressed.
No one seemed to know, no one seemed to care anything about my soul. Sweethearts passed me by.
Let me tell you, there are more micro shifts in color than there's this.
I've got a heart I want to lose, two loving arms I want to use. All my hopes in vain must I remain.
Da, 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 da.
you care anything about my soul. Sweethearts pass me by, make me wonder why mine has never come along. I've got a heart I want to lose to loving arms I want to use. All my hopes in vain, must I remain lost in a crowd? Lost in a crowd.
Oh, we've got love and a dime. We just found it in time. We've got dreams of love, singing on 2 nickels with the sun up above. We've got plenty of time to live on love with syncopation, rhythm, and rhyme. We've got that swing and everything. We've got love and a dime. We've got that rhythm and we've got that song. We've got the very thing we need to get along. We've got so much of such and such. Baby, how can we go wrong? We certainly have our share of everything, everywhere. I love you, and you're not fickle. You've got 5 cents, and I've got a nickel. We've got love and a dime.
Man, go ahead to this guy. He could paint. I'd love to find out though who was the who kicked the ball rolling. So it would be ultimate. Yeah, I've got a suspicion that there's somebody out there we don't know about. And maybe none of their works have survived. Somebody out there that, like Leonardo da Vinci, and simply don't know anything about. That'd be cool. I think it'd be really cool. This kind of level of work just doesn't happen. I mean, I've speculated Vermeer may have just been artistic genius, which is possible. But it's such, every time you think of, well, maybe that's what it was, you slap yourself in the side of the head and say, that can't be it. And because it doesn't happen overnight, like somebody had to have been some sort of instruction or something, even down to mixing your colors. There's something there. Had to have been. Just don't sit up one day and go, oh, I know how to mix ultramarine blue. Oh yeah, no big deal. It doesn't know how to work like that. When I get the green out and I said, I'll make it up. I'll do it more the way he did it. No, it's better than that. Da.
The longest lane will soon be bending. Flowers will bloom, spreading the good news over the way. Spring will soon come, smiling down the lane. Hallelujah, I'm happy ending. Let us begin all the way. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program for today. Cheerio, everybody.
I sure didn't make it right there. Oh.
when you found there was something missing, you came running straight home to your one and only. Now let that be a lesson to you. You thought you found yourself a new song, but when you found it was just a blue song, you came running straight home to your one and only. Now let that be a lesson to you. Forgetting your true love, you were wise. You thought that your new love would bring you paradise. You tried somebody else's petting. When you found just what you were getting, you came running straight home to your one and only. Now let that be a lesson to you.
Try to get the green. Da, 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 da.
Oftentimes, just when I'm ready to despair, when my seems too much to bear, that's when I cheer up by thinking of a song, one that keeps me strong when the road is long. Follow a star where it may lead. Just keep your star in view.
Mm-hmm.
Though it be far, let it precede until your dreams come true. Take my advice and hitch your tiny wagon to it. You'll never rue it if you do so. Follow a star. Good fortune speed you and make it a lucky star for
Da, da.
I said follow a star where it may lead you. Just keep your star in view. Though it be far, let it precede you
Da, da,
until
da,
your
da.
dreams come true. Take my advice and hitch your tiny wagon to it. Believe me, you'll never rue it if you
Radio Dismuke is now on Facebook. Find us at facebook.com/Radio Dismuke. Streaming the sounds of the 1920s and 1930s around the world 24 hours a day. This is Radio Dismuke. RadioDismuke.com. HappyMusicRadio.com.
Manchmal sogar bisschen schwer mit dir, dennoch heil ich mein Herz und noch mehr mit dir. Ich geh nie von dir fort, denn ich lieb dich und ich bild mir ein, du liebst mich auch. Manchmal sogar ein bisschen schwer mit dir, dennoch heil ich mein Herz und noch mehr mit dir. Ich geh nie von dir fort, denn ich lieb dich und ich bild mir ein, du liebst mich auch.
Hi-ho, everybody. Here we are again on the new Columbia Radio Record. America's great songwriter and former singing waiter, Irving Berlin, who has been writing very little during the past few months, has emerged with a new song, a lovely melody and thought, as he please say it isn't so. You can't stop people from talking, and they're talking, I hear, and the things they're saying fill my heart with fear. Now I could never believe them when they say you're untrue. I know that they're but I want to hear it from you. Say it isn't so. Say it isn't so. Everyone is saying you don't love me. Say it isn't so. Everywhere I go, everyone I know whispers that you're growing tired of me. Say it isn't so. People say that you found something new, and it won't be long before you leave me. Say it isn't true. Say that everything is still okay. That's all I want to know. And what they're saying, say it isn't so.
So
What rhythm? This rhythm. Rhythm.
da, da,
The world is saying rhythm. My soul keeps praying. Everybody's rhythm mad, and I love that rhythm too.
da.
Rhythm. My heart is crying rhythm. My soul is dying. Everybody's rhythm mad, and I love that rhythm too. When I hear that rhapsody in blue, yes, it makes me want to swing my rhythm too. But can I do? Rhythm, my soul is saying rhythm, my heart is saying everybody's rhythm mad, and I love that rhythm too.
Oh.
Rhythm, rhythm, everybody's rhythm mad, and I love that rhythm too.
Oh.
Rhythm, rhythm, everybody's rhythm mad, and I love that rhythm too. When I hear that rhapsody in blue, makes me wanna swing my rhythm too. But what can I do? Rhythm, rhythm, everybody's rhythm mad, and I love that rhythm too.
Oh.
To be or not to be, that is not the question. I decided long ago to be. With me, it's what to be. Now make me some suggestions, good or bad, which is the best for me. When you're after fun and laughter, this aggravates you. Some reformers say a warmer climate awaits you. It's naughty to rouge your lips, shake your shoulders, shake your hips. Let a lady confess I wanna be bad. It's naughty to dance for men, sleep each morning after 10. Then the answer is yes, I wanna be bad. This thing of being a good little goody is all very well. One thing you do when you're loaded with plenty of hell, and bigger when you're learning what lips are for. And it's naughty to ask for more. Let a lady confess I wanna be bad.
Dun, dun. Dun.
Oh, if it's naughty to rouge your lips, shake your shoulders, shake your hips, and let a lady confess I wanna be bad. And if it's naughty to vamp the men, sleep each morning after 10, then the answer is yes, I wanna be bad. Nobody cares just how blue and how lonesome I am. If I have troubles and laugh, why they don't give a damn. So credit if it's wrong to let someone take just a little kiss by mistake. Let a lady confess I wanna be bad. Bad.
The rich, full flavor of Horlick's malted milk is one that you will never grow tired of. Horlick's is always a delicious drink, always refreshing and invigorating. It's a nourishing and energy-giving drink, too. A fine food drink for both children and adults. Horlicks malted milk, you know, is rich in vitamins and minerals that help children develop healthy, sturdy bodies, sound bones, and teeth. Those vitamins and minerals are carefully preserved by Horlicks' method of vacuum processing the rich, full cream milk and fine wheat and malted barley used in making Horlicks malted milk. But beware of cheap imitations of Horlicks, the original and genuine. Always ask for it by name and refuse to accept a substitute. Horlicks malted milk can be purchased in both natural and chocolate flavors.
Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Dun, dun.
Rain on the roof. I love the patter of the rain on the roof. The pitter-patter of the rain on the roof. It makes me want to dream. Rain on the roof. Just hear the clatter of the rain on the roof. It doesn't matter 'cause the rain on the roof makes me want to dream. I cuddle up in my bed, and overhead I hear the rain. Inside it's so nice and warm to hear the storm outside the window pane. Rain on the roof, the silver clatter of the rain on the roof. It's all a catamite main on the roof, and I'm going to dream.
a land of palms. And as he takes her little trembling hand, she melts in his arms. I see two lovers in a land apart, heart to heart, what bliss. And in my loneliness I see them start one heavenly kiss. I hear their song at the shrine of love. The wine of love flows free. Is there no voice in the spring of love to sing of love with me? I see two lovers while alone I stand by the sand and sea. I wonder when I'll find the trembling hand, fade and tender for me. Heavenly music, gorgeous perfume, voices of night, a silvery light chasing the gloom. Soon a sweet picture comes into view, and my heart is still before a thrill I never knew.
Fine.
I hear their song at the shrine of love. The wine of love flows free. Is there no voice in the spring of love to sing of love with me? I see two lovers while alone I stand by the sea. I wonder when I'll find the trembling hand, fade and tender for me.
Damn, somehow I got the I wrong now.
Ein guter Freund, das ist das Beste, was es gibt auf der Welt. Ein Freund bleibt immer Freund, und wenn die ganze Welt zusammenfällt, drum sei auch nie betrübt. Wenn dein Schatz dich nicht mehr liebt, ein Freund, ein guter Freund, das ist der größte Schatz, den es gibt.
Killer! I just noticed you there, man. Oh, I'm doing fine, buddy. How you doing? How you doing? Just working on my little Schwartz girl. Just working away. What you been up to? Tired? What's the matter? You been working too much or something? Well, it's good to see you, man. You working too hard or something? I hope not. Oh no. My guessing that's an expensive proposition to fix that sucker, right?
I don't want to live like a millionaire. I don't care to dance like Fred Astaire. The only thing I'd love to do is hop, skip, jump into your arms. I don't
That's a piss off.
even if the boats were Normandies. The only thing I'd like to do is hop, skip, jump into your arms. People seek the one they love by traveling everywhere. But I could reach the one that I love with a hop, skip, jump, and I'm there. You can have your wish to be shooting high, looking for your rainbows in the sky. The only thing I like to do is hop, hop, hop.
Well,
Skip, skip, jump into your arms.
aren't you kind of limited to what you get? Because you need high end, don't you? There's only so many players in that game. Like, don't you really need a high end card for playing video? I thought you needed like the bat. Like I use Xbox, so. But don't you need, like, if you're playing on the computer, a really high end card? Oh, I hear you.
But I could reach the one I love with a hop, skip, jump, and I'm there. You can have your wish to be shooting.
Well, I gotta tell you, he may be on his way out, but if it gave you 6 years, man, that was a damn good card. If it gave you 6 years, holy Moses. In computer years, that's like what, 200 years? But I feel for you. You'd ask Art Galaxy Tech what's out there. He's in the know when it comes to that stuff, I'll tell you. You should whisper to him and say, what's the best price in a card? He'll probably know. 6 years old, my God. I know what it's like, though. You forget. Like yesterday, I just bought my laptop. That was like 2 years ago. Like, holy Moses. Time flies. I'm nicely set up now because I've got a desktop again. But for what I need, it's exactly what I need. But if I was playing video, I don't think you can play it on this machine. Well, you could, but I guess it would be frame. The frames would lag so bad that it drive you nuts.
we rovers. Every day our love grew. Our hopes were high, our
I
hopes
feel
were
for you.
low. He and I were both at sea. What could we do? Sweet romance seemed to fill the air. It caught us unaware. We kissed one night beneath a yellow moon.
Is it on its way out because
We started humming
games
a wedding
are
tune.
demanding more of a card? Or is it because
Coming over.
it's just wearing out?
We both vowed to be true. A perfect sea, a sunny sky, for there was he and there was I. What could we do?
Well, I'm going to have to put the highlights in here.
Was on a steamer coming over. We both vowed to be true. A perfect sea, a sunny sky, for there was she and there was I. What could we do?
What I'm saying is because the games are demanding more of the card, or is it the card's just wearing out? I'm serious, so we should ask Art Galaxy Tech. He knows all about that stuff. As far as I know, anyway. Maybe I'm talking through my hat. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So it's the games have demanded more and more horsepower, so to speak. And no matter what you buy, a year from now will be the same problem. I swear the game manufacturers are probably in cahoots with the guys who make the cards, right? Oh, God, I don't know. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. That's a damn good idea. Really, you should talk to Art Galaxy Tech. He's a computer wizard, man. He knows all about that temperature, core temperature, uh, uh, what to keep it at, how to get around it, how to cool it down, all that stuff. But if you know how to do all that, well, you know best. I would guess. I gotta admit, I'm not really up in that stuff. All I really good at, well, good enough, I suppose, is art. After that, it's all downhill.
I never knew the beauty night could bring until you opened my eyes. I saw the flowers blooming on the hill, rivers reflecting the skies. But in their loveliness I found no thrill until you opened my eyes. My heart was deep in dreamless sleep, and then you touched my hand.
You could even say I'm computer challenged, to be honest with you. I know how to do stuff like Photoshop and stuff. When it comes to the actual computer, man, if it wasn't for Art Galaxy Tech, I'll tell you, I'd be cooked. He knows how to do all that stuff. Thank God, because I sure as hell don't. Come. You never. Just realized I fucked up.
Radio Dismute is a listener-supported service of the early 1900s music preservation, a nonprofit organization devoted to bringing the great forgotten music of the past to the attention of new and appreciative modern audiences. If you enjoy the music we present and value the work that we do, please consider giving us your support to whatever degree you're able. Your contribution will not only ensure that the music continues to play for your own enjoyment, you will also be passing on a priceless gift to all those who will discover this wonderful music for the first time as a result of our efforts. For more information, go to www.early1900s.org. That's early1900s.org.
Every time I open these eyes more, not enough. Surely, God, that'll. That's better. Oh. No rest for the wicked. Well, that was a mistake.
Your love is like a song that came to linger on. You're more than all the world to me. My skies had turned to gray. You changed them in a day. You're more than all the world to me. We'll find our happiness together. I'll keep whenever and when we're old and gray, I'll still be there to say you're more.
Jesus, every time I turn around, the damn brush drops on me.
That blue up a tree. That southern lady from Memphis is just as modest as can be. She'll let you hold her hand. She'll tease you all she can. She'll neck a little bit, but she knows when to quit. That blue-eyed baby from Memphis is just the baby for me.
That's better. Mhm.
You're simply delish, my favorite dish. Your honey, your sugar, your sweet. Your love a la carte is food for the heart. To have you would be quite a treat. Your sugary kiss would give me such bliss. 3 meals a day and you, that's my wish. Your lips are like wine, sweet cookie of mine. I'll tell the world you're simply delish.
No matter how much I miss you, you'll never know that you're returning to hold and kiss you. You'll never know. After the sun may die out, but never fear. My heart may cry out, but you'll never hear. My bluebirds are blackbirds the day we part, but you'll never know, sweetheart.
Dun, dun, dun. I'll let that dry.
Radio Dismuke is now on Facebook. Find us at facebook.com/Radio Dismuke. Streaming the sounds of the 1920s and 1930s around the world 24 hours a day. This is Radio Dismuke. RadioDismuke.com. HappyMusicRadio.com.
Mhm.
You've heard a lot about, here's just a word about freshmen. We're glad we're not freshmen. We're out of that sphere. Now that we're sophomores, regular sophomores, good times. We're gonna have good times. Our heyday is here. Our yearly prom is coming round, and that's not all. Most every co-ed will be found down at the ball. We planned a lot for this, we're kinda hot for this big night. We'll make it a big night, the dance of the year. Go and get a girl, then make a date with her. Don't be late with her, you'll be great with her when you introduce her down at the sophomore prom. Every girlie's rib should have an arm about. If there's harm about, sing a song and shout. Eat the Southalapa, you're at the sophomore prom. It's not a night for chronic ailers. It's not a night for peaceful sailors. But what a night for gin inhalers. Oh, lo-do-de-yum. How do we get home? We don't know how we do. Who the heck says we do? What if we do? Everything is maybe down at the sophomore prom.
When you give a new Chevrolet to the family for Christmas, you give them happiness that lasts a long time. You give them safe, comfortable transportation in winter, the open road in spring, access to the world's finest vacation delights, and year-round social contact with their friends. It is the best Christmas gift of all, and the records prove it. For more orders for Christmas, Chevrolets are pouring in to Chevrolet dealers than ever before in history. In the new Chevrolet for 1936, full-fledged luxury for the first time comes to low-cost motoring. The only complete low-price car. With new perfected hydraulic brakes, solid steel one-piece turret-top bodies, improved gliding knee-action ride, high-compression valve-in-head engine, shock-proof steering, genuine Fisher no-draft ventilation, with many other features for safest, smoothest, thriftiest motoring. And now, with Chevrolet's low prices, you get the further economy of the new, greatly reduced GMAC 6% time payment plan. Place your order now with your Chevrolet dealer, and the best gift of all will be at your door Christmas morning.
Mhm.
loving you, and you knew I was true too many years. I cared a lot, but what have I done? Too many tears. I know I should have found a new love, and don't you think I didn't try? But I found out a number two love never seemed to satisfy. I'll never learn to smile again and sing. I gave you everything, and in return, what did you leave for souvenirs? Too many tears.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I made you cry. I'm sorry, sweetheart, and yes, though you shouldn't be lenient with me, I hope you'll forgive and forget. What can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry? What can I do to prove it to you I'm sorry? I didn't mean to ever be mean to you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't feel like I do. I was all wrong, but right or wrong, I don't blame you. Why should I take somebody like you and shame you? I know that I made you cry, and I'm so sorry, dear. So what can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry? Sorry. What can I do to prove it to you I'm sorry? Sorry. I didn't mean to ever be mean to you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't feel like I do. I was all wrong, but right or wrong, I don't blame you. Blame you. Why should I take somebody like you and shame you? I know that I made you cry, and I'm so sorry, dear. So what can I say, dear, after I say I'm sorry?
It was a lucky April shower. It was the most convenient dawn. I found $1 million baby in a 5 and 10-cent store. The rain continued for an hour. I hung around for 3 or 4. Around $1 million baby in a 5 and 10-cent store. She was selling china she made those eyes, I kept buying china until the crowd got wise. Incidentally, if you should run into a shower, just step inside my cottage door and meet the $1 million baby from the 5 and 10 cent store. Love comes along like a popular song, anytime or anywhere at all. Rain or sunshine, spring or fall, say you never know when it may say hello in a very unexpected place. For example, take my case. She was selling china, and when she made those eyes, I kept buying china until the crowd got wise. Incidentally, if you should run into a shower, step inside my cottage door and meet my $1 million baby from the 5 and 10 cent store.
There's a girl in Havana who is quite a sensation, a new revelation. She lives in Havana. Oh, yes. Now there's nobody sweeter. She's the talk of the town there, and everyone down there is dying to meet her. She's a sweet senorita. Oh, yes. Tony's wife, the boys in Havana love Tony's wife. Around the cabana of Tony's wife, they sing in a manner that's rare. Tony's wife, the fellas are fools about Tony's wife. They're fighting their duels about Tony's wife, but Tony's too lazy to care. When she plays on her guitar, oh, they come from near and far. Oh, my, oh, me. She gives them a shaking up, you should see. The holes that are breaking up, pure surely. A man would surrender his life for Tony's wife.
Night and day.
Night and day, you are the one. Only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near me or far, it's no matter, darling, where
You
you are.
are.
I think of you. Night and day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? Winds that roar and come, in the silence of my room, I think of you. Night and day, under the hide of me. There's an oh such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and
Not.
You are listening to Radio Dismuke. RadioDismuke.com. HappyMusicRadio.com.
Do-do. Dun, dun.
Ever ready, Eddie was a fiddle ready till he bought himself a new guitar. He learned to play a hot guitar. Now Eddie is a radio star. Eddie was afraid he'd not to play before the radio until he bought a new guitar. Oh, Eddie, get your new guitar. Now if you're ready, we are. Play that hot guitar, oh Mr. Play, just one more bar. Those single strings and harmony, those funny strains and melodies. My feet can't behave, all I can do is rap and rave and just a rhythm love and play. When you play the hot guitar, won't you hit one string, hit it and then just let it ring. Take your pick, piccolo, bass, lick, quick. After beats are sweet when you can play them off the beat. Oh, mister, what a man you are. When you play the hot guitar.
Mhm. dun, dun, dun. Mhm. Mhm.
The rain could fall, I wouldn't mind at all if I were only sure of you. The
Mhm.
would hear my song of love if I were only sure of you. High on a hillside, we'd hide beside a silver stream, putting each sorrow off till tomorrow while we dream. The sun would shine, the whole world would be
now Two Guitars, a romantic favorite by the ensemble under the direction of George Sheckler.
Radio Dismuke is a listener-supported service of early 1900s music preservation, a nonprofit organization devoted to bringing the great forgotten music of the past to the attention of new and appreciative modern audiences. If you enjoy the music we present and value the work that we do, please consider giving us your support to whatever degree you're able. Your contribution will not only ensure that the music continues to play for your own enjoyment, you will also be passing on a priceless gift to all those who will discover this wonderful music for the first time as a result of our efforts. For more information, go to www.early1900s.org. That's early1900s.org.
On the beach with you, I'll loaf the whole day through and cuddle close beneath a big red umbrella on the beach with you. That's where I'll undo a basket lunch for two, and through a straw I'm gonna drink sarsaparilla on the beach with you. We'll sit on the sand, start holding hands, far from the crowd. Neath bright skies above, I'll say I love you right out loud. We can dream and plan and get a sun-kissed hand. Beside the ocean blue, I'll be right in heaven on the beach with you. he works on the one-day plan. He does nothing on Monday and rests till Sunday. My old man, my old man. He's only doing the best he can. It takes a barrel of whiskey to make him frisky. My old man. When he steps out, grabs old Missy from the washing tub, and he takes her in a taxi to the Onyx Club with a Frankie-Danky Doodle and a umbrella. My old man, he's going to end in the garbage can. If there's a bottle of gin there, he'll stay in there. My old man.
My heart goes pitter-pitter-pat, and I don't know where I'm at. It's a pleasure, it's a whiz. I don't know just where the trouble is, oh dear. It's on the right side, oh dear. It's on the left side, right here. I got real trouble, oh boy, oh dear. My operation doctor, come kiss the patient right here. I got real trouble, oh boy. Never felt so good, so bad. There is no hope for me. All of the doctors told me I got the L-O-V-E. Oh dear, my blood is cooking. Now doctor, look where you're looking. Right here. I got real trouble, oh boy. Now women, I'm wild about 'em, and women, I can't do without 'em. Right now, I got real trouble, oh boy. Brunettes, oh what I crave for their pet, that I'm a slave for, and right now, I got real trouble, oh boy. You know I'm an easy mark for girls. They take me without fear, and when they see me coming, they whisper Santa Claus is here. Ah, but still there's a lot of misses willing to share my kisses right now. I got real trouble, oh boy. I'm just a henpecked hubby. Well, that's what the fellas all dub me right now. I got real trouble, oh boy. Dishes, I wash and dry 'em, and omelets, how I can fry 'em. But right now, I got real trouble, oh boy. Yesterday, I was feeling fine till I reached my door. Then something awful happened, oh, something I wasn't looking for. I found some brand new boarders. Wifey just gave me 3 new daughters. And right now, I got real trouble, oh boy.
glömma har jag känt för hennes skull. Sorger har jag glömt för hennes skull. Men mitt hjärta har hon ej kunnat vinna. Vad har jag gjort för hennes skull, som jag inte bort för hennes skull? När skall den rätta jag finna? Lycka vill jag nå för hennes skull, sväva i det blå för hennes skull. Henne som jag vet är skapad blott för mig.
Alright, folks, that's her for tonight. Progress. Progress. Yes, progress. Going to be about it. There we go. Anyway, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. All those wonderful things. Hey, she's looking at us now, so there's something I didn't do. Oh well. Jesus, didn't see that. Oh, I got a little bit. Well, since I got a little bit left, I'm gonna just. Come. Call me a stickler. Means I gotta go back.
It's June in January because I'm in love. It's always a spring in my heart with you in my arms. The snow is just white blossoms that fall from
There
above.
we go.
And here is
Better.
my dear, your magic
Anyway,
love.
thank you kindly for watching.
The night is cold, the trees are bare, but I can feel in the air. It's June
It's been a slice,
because I'm in love.
but good night.